It.
Josh, did I tell you that Ari and I signed up to do a marathon?
Oh my gosh. Where at?
In Raleigh in November. I vote
Wow.
we make a weekend out of it. Call me crazy. But I also did a 4.5 mile run today, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he ran today as well. He ran like 4 miles today too.
Oh, he's been cooking.
I know.
When I was in Boone, we went on a run. I thought I was going to throw up. I also had literally just finished eating an acai bowl, but
That'll
he
do
kept
it.
like speeding up, and I was like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill you with a
yeah.
gun. You need to stop running faster. I was
The
free.
pace master. I went on a run
He's
today.
locked in.
I'm trying to get actually into running.
Guys,
I know because
yes.
I'm trying to cut back down.
So is Jana. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, I went on like a mile and a half run today.
Mhm.
Starting easy, starting
Oh, yeah,
easy.
as you should.
It was like right after I hit legs too, and I'm like, you know what? It's beautiful.
That's
So I'm gonna go on the Greenway
crazy.
and go on a run.
Yeah. Boone is the place to do it.
I know. So I think I'm gonna try to
It's
go
gorgeous.
3 times a week.
Oh,
On a
heck
run.
yeah.
I kind of want to
Okay.
like really get back my cardio back because since
Yeah, man.
I've gained weight, like it has been so humbling doing any sort of cardio or like rock climbing or anything with upper body.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I can do more weight now, but when it comes to like agility or cardio, it is so much harder
Okay.
because my body's so not used to like the amount of weight that I have that I'm exerting during my energy. So
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I'm very excited to get that kind of like cardio health
Yeah.
back. I have a bachelorette next week, and I can't wait to be the bridesmaid who's been like, "Oh, sorry, I was on my run this morning."
Nice.
Oh my gosh, how are you feeling? Sorry,
who's
I've been up
winning?
all morning. I'm gonna be the worst. It's gonna
Who's
be
winning?
awesome. Who's winning? Anna Blake.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Awesome.
be fun. I'm very excited.
That
It's gonna
is
be lit.
awesome. Mary, you going to that wedding?
Anna's?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Woohoo! Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. All
Nice.
the bridesmaids and stuff. It's gonna be lit.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Uh oh, we lost Mare. Where'd you
Mare.
go? Mare.
All I hear is, oh.
I had to side up my clip. It wasn't holding on my hair.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. That makes sense.
Also, just cut out the first time I opened that. Cut that out.
Nope, keeping it in. That's awesome.
All right, Maddie, let's do this thing.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Take 3 podcast. I almost said the other name for a second. And we're all back. I am Maddie.
I'm Josh.
I'm Meredith.
And today we are going to be talking about the new movie, Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and that Irish guy. It's going to be great.
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell. Oh
Jack
my
O'Connor.
gosh.
Connell.
Connell. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about
Yes,
that.
Ryan
But-
Coogler's new movie.
Mm-hmm. We all
Yeah.
went and saw it on Monday evening. I was in
Yes, we did.
town, and we ended up going to see it in the theater, and it was awesome.
There, yeah.
I had a blast. Yeah.
Meredith did not like it as much as Maddie and I did, and Meredith says that she doesn't have much to talk about with it. But we're gonna have a good, productive conversation.
It's gonna be great.
Meredith's gonna be like, hey, Meredith, think of this. I don't know.
It's alright.
I don't know.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
I'll give a couple of fun facts about the movie before we
do
get
it.
into it and start talking about it. Okay, so the director was Ryan Coogler, and it was released on April 18th, 2025, and it had a budget of $90 million US
Wow, I
dollars.
thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, and then the genre is horror/adventure. And so just a couple of fun facts about it. Sinners was entirely shot on film using a combination of Ultra Panavision 70 and IMAX 70mm. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's like never been used before. Both of them,
Yeah.
in that way, which is really interesting.
So yeah, 70mm is like there's screenings that are 70mm. There are none in North Carolina, I don't believe. I think there's one down in Georgia where it's like a specific theater, but it's huge, like this massive screen.
Yeah.
And it costs like $20 extra to go. But so when it's like designed for that, it's like, okay, those cameras were used for that screening. It's like when IMAX cameras are used specifically for IMAX.
Okay,
But,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the movie is basically, does someone want to explain the like kind of plot of the film? Also, huge spoiler warning for people who haven't seen the movie.
It's been out long enough, I think. It's been out for over a month. I can give the quick plot.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not even out of the theaters.
To be fair, the only reason it's not is because it's so big. It's been in theaters for over a month, which is kind of crazy.
Okay, if I didn't have Regal, though, I would have never paid to go see it.
It's true. That's true.
I don't have Regal.
And I do it again.
Yeah. So we follow a man named
Ove.
what?
Oh my gosh, she's referencing a book.
Sorry.
What's his name?
Sammy.
Sammy, thank
Sammy.
you.
Preacher
Thank
boy
you, ma'am.
Sammy.
We follow
Preacher
Preacher Boy
Boy.
Sammy, who is a sharecropper in Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the early 30s. And we follow him, his two cousins, Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan, and Smoke and Stack are opening up a juke joint, like a dancing type bar club, down in the farmland of Mississippi. And so it's about this club opening up, and there is a lot of plot twists regarding different vampires that show up. Haley Steinfeld's character is like family to these characters that we follow, and so she is a main character, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
She's weird. So it's basically about them opening up their new juice joint and the problems that arise from music and from outside people.
Who are vampires.
Who are vampires.
Surprise. Yep. And it's crazy.
It is. There's a lot to unpack about it. I've seen it 3 times now. And yeah, I think it rocks.
What rating did everybody give it on Letterboxd? That's the question.
Mara changed hers, I noticed.
Half star. The first time I watched it, I gave it 3
Tell us
stars, and then now it's 3.5. Second time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was happy to see that.
I went with 4 stars, but that could change. Keaton?
I went with 3.5 originally, first time I watched it. And then I watched it in IMAX by myself. And I went up a full star, so 4.5.
Dang.
Now, so yeah. So I think what I want to do is kind of start at the beginning.
It's a good place to start.
Hey, all right. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys.
No, let's dive in. Let's dive in.
Oh, yeah. Let's dive in. All right.
Sorry to all our
I don't
headphones
know.
users.
I don't know if
Rip
that was
these things
too
off
close,
my
but-
head.
Okay, so the opening credits, right? Or like the opening scene is
Oh, sick.
super cool. It shows these people, these like group of black people, one's holding a guitar, and then it shows like a family, and in the background it's saying like some people acquire the power of music that can bring people from the past and the future, right? And that obviously
And also,
go ahead.
evil people. Sorry,
And
just
yes.
I'm skipping ahead.
No, you're right. I was gonna say that quote is a reference to like the most famous scene in the movie, which is the song. We'll get to that in a second. But yes, Maddie, you were saying too, where there's a lot of foreshadowing, just even in the first 5 minutes of the movie, where it's like you kind of can understand why the vampires are there, what their motive is, and I think it relates perfectly to what we see in the movie with the vampires themselves.
And then it cuts to Sammy driving.
Yes.
This poor kid, like covered in blood, holding a broken neck of a guitar.
Right.
Walking into a church, and his father, like basically, like telling him, it's very intense, like telling him to denounce music.
Right.
And it cuts to like a shot of him gripping the guitar and like maybe loosening his grip, but not. And then cuts to only 1 day earlier.
Right.
And as soon as that happened, I was like,
"What?" Yeah. You're like,
because
you're like, what could have happened in 24 hours to have this happen?
Yeah, and it hooks you right from there.
And I love when movies do that, where it's like the first scene is like almost the final scene as well. Like it's the end of the movie, but it starts at the beginning. And I love when movies do that. I think it's super cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What are other movies that do that? Challengers.
I would think Challengers, absolutely.
What's that one that is similar to Challengers about a boxer? $1 Million Baby. Nope.
Oh, does it do that in that?
I don't know. I might be
wrong.
wrong.
Wait, I know what you're thinking of. I know. I think I know. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we know what you're thinking.
Does Cinderella Man do that?
I don't know. Mare?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Anyway.
Anywho.
But yeah, so then we see the car, and then after he leaves the church, or after that, we just meet him. We meet him as a sharecropper. And he's getting done with his work early, so he can go and play music, right?
Yeah.
That's when we meet the cousins. Smoke and Stack.
Michael B. Jordan.
Let's talk about Michael B. Jordan's performance for a second.
I was hoping you'd say to talk about his biceps.
No, Meredith.
Because,
Meredith, I think you can think about that on your own.
Yeah.
The star of the show. Okay.
So Meredith, let's start with what did you think of Michael B. Jordan's performance? Did you think it was really good?
That was really good. He's a phenomenal actor. I really love Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And him just playing two people. That's always impressive.
I know, it really is.
And along with the editing really makes you forget that it is it's the same person playing two parts, but also Michael is a big factor in that too, because he makes you forget that he's not a twin.
Right.
Dude,
and
that
it's him playing
cigarette shot.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
The handoff. Fun fact, that took like over 80 takes to get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Coogler has had Michael B. Jordan in every single one of his movies, which is kind of cool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Need to look at Ryan
Both
Coogler.
Creeds,
Okay.
Black Panther, and then Fruitvale Station back in 2015,
cool.
which was like a small indie film that I haven't seen yet. But
They're best friends.
they are they've worked together and they talk so highly of each other.
That's really sweet.
I agree. The first time I watched it, I thought Michael B. Jordan's performance was like not as good as I wanted to. But I think this past time I watched it with you guys kind of made me realize like, okay, it's actually a lot better than I thought it was originally.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I
think that Michael B. Jordan was fantastic. Even down to I think I was telling maybe Mary Janet, I don't know, someone this, but just like the subtlety between his performance was really incredible. Like it wasn't like cartoonish, like I'm the quiet twin, I'm the really loud twin, and then like doing a whole bit like that. But it was just very subtle. And then one of the fun facts I found is that Michael B. Jordan consulted multiple sets of twins. Apparently Ryan Coogler has multiple sets of twins in his family.
Oh wow.
And so he talked with like actual twins to kind of figure out like, okay, what is it like to have a twin? What is that connection? And really learn how to play onto those subtle differences between the pair.
Right.
Very interesting.
That's super interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I agree though. I think the fact that they both have such distinct personalities and we get such specific time with each of them. Like I think of The Social Network where Armie Hammer does it too, but we don't get to know those characters really well. They're just kind of like the Winklevoss twins and they have very similar personalities. But this movie, like Coogler makes it very apparent to get to know each one of them individually. Like they have very different personalities.
Yeah.
Which I think was really cool.
Yeah, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
he killed that. It was super cool.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and I thought something that was so interesting about that beginning of the film, because then basically the film from there goes into just these two guys trying to set up a juke joint.
Yeah.
Like these two infamous twins that moved to Chicago and made money, and like they're all dressed immaculately.
Yeah.
Like they have Smoke and Stack drive a car. They're like the Smokestack brothers. They're like ruthless. They like, which one is it? Smoke?
Which one?
The blue. One who wears
Smoke.
Blue is Smoke, yeah.
Smoke, yeah. He just shoots two guys for stealing from his car. Like, not he, like one guy he knows. He's like, oh, hey, man, how are you?
Yeah,
I was doing okay before you shot me in the ass. Like, that whole exchange. And then he just shoots the other guy, even though he already caught them both. Like, they're, like, kind of known for being ruthless.
Right.
But it's just kind of following this plot of these two guys trying to set up this juke joint.
Right.
And I kept on thinking the whole time. Like, it had me hooked because I was like, how the heck does this kid get covered in blood? So I think that was a really good way to like keep it hooked. But it was also fun. I love an ensemble cast, like meeting all of the characters. Like, oh, it was so cool.
I thought I forgot their names. The two Asian people, I forgot their name.
I don't remember their characters' names.
Bo and
Bo was one.
Is it Mary?
Linda? Whoa, I'm off.
Mary was Haley's character.
Hold up.
Yeah, you're right.
Annie.
Nope.
Annie was the love interest.
Oh, you're right. Annie was,
Hold on. Grace. And
yes.
Bo.
Right. Mm-hmm. I thought they were so good.
They were fantastic.
Especially, I thought Bo was really great. I thought he was so good.
Both
like
of them were
great
amazing.
Side characters who don't get much screen time, but they have such distinct personalities too. I think we also we're kind of going through the movie. So like they're setting up juke joint, infamous twins. They work with Al Capone in Chicago, so this takes place in like the 20s and 30s. So like you were saying, like they're ruthless. They'll do whatever it takes to get what they want.
Dirty money.
Right. And so, they're hiring people for their juke joint. And so we get to the juke joint, right? And I think we meet Jack O'Connell. the villain of the
Oh,
movie.
we established that there's like about 2 love interests get introduced in this montage
Oh,
as well.
yeah.
Smoke's apparently like old. I don't know if they were ever married, but old like mother to his
Relationship,
child
right.
who passed away, Annie. And I think
Yes.
it's really interesting how they brought in like kind of like African like folklore and all of that. I can't speak too much on it because I don't know much
Right.
about it, but I thought her whole character was fascinating and a really cool foil to Smoke as well, kind of like businessman, ruthless, and this like gentle but firm like
yes.
like
She
woman
was
that he's
awesome.
in love with.
Yeah, I thought she was super cool.
Oh my gosh, she that was
Annie.
Yeah, Annie. She was
Yeah,
amazing. And
she
then
was
Haley
great.
Seinfeld's character
Yes.
gets introduced as Stack's love interest, but they're much more on and off, kind of like a
lot
fiery
of conflict there.
tension. Yeah,
right.
Very interesting.
So yeah, let's talk about Jack O'Connell because I think we need to talk about his performance.
Oh my gosh.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
I thought he absolutely crushed it as like this villain that like I don't know because when he goes up to the door and I think Stack's like, "Are you part of the Klan?" And he's like, "Sir." Like, no. And when you first watch it, you're like, "Oh, I don't believe him." Like until you realize like genuinely he's not racist.
He's a vampire.
He wants music. He wants his culture back. He wants because the way that Annie was saying it later in the film, where it's like vampires are different because their soul is trapped inside, longing for that thing that they used to have, right? And so Jack O'Connell, like that's just his whole character. Like he's genuinely not a racist guy. He's just he wants the music. He wants his culture back. He wants people to join him.
Yeah. I my phone obviously figured out that I watched Sinners because I got some TikToks about it, and it was like this real. Obviously, it's not going to be as funny when I say it, but just basically talking about it, like Jack O'Connell, like as soon as he hears about being a racist, just like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. But when it comes to murdering people, he's like, "But that's okay." But I'm gonna murder a couple of people. I'm gonna kill a few folks. It was just it made me laugh. It was very funny.
Yeah,
but I think too, just as like an actor, he was. Oh my gosh, he was so cool.
Yeah, I thought he crushed it.
Oh, also, this is a fun fact. I think you guys are going to like this. Ryan Coogler apparently explained in an interview that Rimmick, the character, was partially inspired by the character Death in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
That's crazy.
With the red eyes and his like general demeanor.
Yeah,
apparently was inspiration for it. Yeah,
that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I loved just too Irish Gang. I was like, let's freaking go.
I know.
Irish guy. But I did giggle a little bit when he started doing his Irish dance in the middle of the circle. That made me giggle.
Apparently, he grew up doing Irish dancing. Like he competed in tournaments when he was younger.
He killed it.
Yeah, so he was like, I've been doing this. He was like, when Ryan asked me to do it, he's like, yeah, sure.
He's like, let's freaking go.
And then the song that they sang, the Rocky Road to Dublin one.
Oh my god.
He was like, yeah, like I used to sing that in bars with my friends all the time. Like I grew up singing that, so it's like he was like I was kind of born to play this character. Like he was like this felt so familiar to me.
That's so cool. I think that Rocky Road to Dublin scene was one of the most chilling scenes in the movie for me. It was so good, but just like with the eyes glowing and the dancing around it, covered in blood. Like that was by far, I think, one of the most like chilling. Like what the freak? That was a crazy scene to me. It was amazing. Yeah, but freaky.
Meredith, what were some of your favorite scenes? Or like scenes that stood out to you in a good or bad way.
I'm like running through the whole movie in my head. I was gonna make a joke and say the scene with Michael Jordan shooting the Tommy gun. His arms are on full display.
Okay.
You can just cut all the silence out.
Oh yeah, I was already planning on it.
Why am I blanking on this movie? I like the scene where I always want to call him by his real name, Sammy. Is in the car with Stack and like he plays the guitar for him for the first time. But him's just singing, traveling. I get chills. I got chills both times. And then I don't know why, but really love the scene, the very end, when it's just Smoke
I
and
do.
Sammy, like after
Yes.
the sun rises, and they're just standing there, and he's like, "That was our daddy's guitar," and
Yeah.
all this. Oh, yes, I'm remembering scenes now. Love the end scene
She's back.
with with Sammy and Smoke, like the end where he tells him that's his daddy's guitar, and like
Yeah.
you should go, I got stuff to take care of. I don't know, it's just like a sweet scene between him and Sammy, and then which reminds me of the scene in the juke joint when Smoke is like he's telling Sammy to like, you need to give up music and like just make church music and like keep yourself safe, because the life that we live is not safe, it's not sustainable, and he knows it. And then but Sammy isn't having nothing of it, and he's like, if you don't want me to leave or don't want me to live this life, then shoot me right here. And Smoke pulls out his gun and it's like, I'm a soldier and you just gave me an order. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
But
because like you said, we've seen him do that. We saw him do it earlier in the movie. Like he's not, like, even though it's one of his cousin, the audience, like, there's no doubt in our minds that he will do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that he's looking out for Sammy. Like that's just it's a sweet scene in my opinion. He's like, he's trying to tell me, like, he doesn't say it outright, but he's like, I'm trying to look out for you and I want you to live your best life and not get involved in all the stuff that me and your cousin have been, part of in Chicago.
Right.
And all the vampires hadn't come up at that point, but
right.
I
think it also goes to show, like, Sammy's age. He's still young. He's probably, what, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. And so, he's like, we see throughout the beginning of the movie, like, he's super excited to try this thing with his cousins, and he seems very naive, but also very just excited to just get involved with his cousins. And they keep asking questions about, like, you told me when I was older, you told me about your dad, or you told me, and then so he has his confidence, especially it's right after he plays that song. And he's like, he's feeling it because he crushed it. And then he has his confidence to be like, you can't tell me what to do. And it's that, like, tough love of, like, no, you don't understand.
You're still a kid.
Yeah.
Right. You need to calm down. Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I thought, yeah.
What about you, Maddie? What were some of your favorite scenes?
Oh, dude. I think the Rocky Road to Dublin is one of my favorites. Like, it was just so chilling and so well done. I loved it. And then I think that was one of the best end credit scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie. Most deserved, like, incredible payoff. I really enjoyed it. And I think the scene where the vampire plot is finally introduced.
I agree.
Because it's in the back of your mind the whole time a little bit of like, so when are the vampires going to come into play? And I think the significance too, I don't remember exactly, I read about it, like which Native American tribe it was, but that being the one that approached, because there's a whole like history between like Native American and Ireland as well. I think that I read like an article about it this morning that I can't recall. It was very interesting, but I think that whole, like, him running in on fire, like smoking,
right?
But you just don't really connect. You just don't really connect the dots in that moment. Like, oh, I guess he got attacked, but then it's like, but then the subtlety, like, I love that all the vampire rules were followed. I love that all of those were followed to a T, of like the holy water, the garlic. I think the scene too of eating the garlic was fantastic.
I agree.
Like the one girl refusing to eat the garlic and being like, "Uh-oh, we got another vampire inside."
Right.
Oh, there's just so many good ones.
And then Slim having that reaction too. You're like, "Oh shoot, is Slim
like,
a vampire or not?"
Oh
yeah.
That scene,
I think the scene too where Stack gets like turned, but he wakes up in and you hear a knock from inside.
It's like that.
That was oh crap.
Because it's gonna happen. We're just kind of waiting for when, because we've seen it happen.
Oh yeah, and then Cornbread trying to get back inside, trying to argue his way out of like, we're all like, what do you mean? Like, we're family. Like, why aren't you, like, his argument trying to not reveal what's actually going on. Incredible. And then like the handing of the money and and then I mean, I'm sure Josh will talk about this more in a minute, but then obviously the spirit scene, the music, that whole spirit, like that was
so great.
I literally have not stopped listening to that song this entire day.
It's so good.
That and Pale Moon. I've been listening to it all day.
That's crazy. I love the scene at the door where, I don't know, Annie's just so BA during that, because she's like, he's talking to him.
Gosh, yeah.
And Cornbread's like, hey, you listen to this fool? He's like, let me talk. She's like, no, you're talking to me now. It's like, why can't you walk your big ass up in here like you've been doing it? Like, I love it. She's so
you're talking
tough.
to me now. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and oh man, I mean, there's just so many little things about it, like the grief you see from Stack or Smoke. Sorry, the grief you see when he's like when his head is to the door and Stack's head's on the opposite side of the door when he turns to a vampire, and he's just like, I can't let you out, but like you're my brother. That's one thing I think they did really well was the relationship between those two. Like it is so heartfelt after.
Oh yeah.
Smoke turns. Or Stack turns, sorry.
Yeah.
The grief you see from Smoke where he's like, I don't know. He's like, don't touch him. Like when he's like holding his body.
Oh yeah. And it's like, we have to move the body. That's not a body.
Yeah.
That's Stack.
Yeah.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
And then too, I tried to put myself in that moment of when watching the movie. I was like, oh my gosh. Like if I was in his shoes, I just simply wouldn't believe it.
I would, yeah.
But like, if that was like my sister, like if that, sorry, I just might open the door. I just might. I just might. Like that's insane. It was done so well.
Yeah. I thought it was like super chilling too. Like when, Michael B. Jordan shoots Haley Steinfeld like 9 times in the chest. And everyone watching is like, we know she's not going to die. But it's also like when she does get up and she's like, we go kill all of you. And it's like,
it's chilling.
Yeah. It was a great delivery there.
Oh my gosh, all of the flying scenes with the vampires freaked me out too. Like when Haley Steinfeld turns to walk away and it's like, okay, like you guys are not coming back in, and all of a sudden it's just Rimmick like, up. I know that when I saw that. Oh man, yeah.
So let's break down that scene. Let's break down the scene a little bit. The scene. I don't know. Like the first time I watched it with Meredith, I hadn't read anything about the movie before, but I remember like we walked out of the theater, and I was like, that may have been one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I think I said that to Meredith, and then I looked online, and I was like, oh, everybody's saying the same thing. Like this scene apparently is like, because it is. It's like it draws perfectly to the beginning of the movie, where like the power that Sammy's music has brings people from the future and from the past back. And it's the sound design in that scene,
incredible.
Oh my gosh! To take like a simple guitar and to be able to hear his guitar the whole time, even through the beat drops and the electric guitar and the different musicians that are playing piano, whatever. I mean, it is just like it is so cool, and for it to be all one shot, and for like I don't know, man, it's so cool.
I loved it. Yeah, I think I can only speak on it from like a cinematic perspective, I think, because I think too when it comes to like the history of like Black Americans and music and culture, like transcending like through generations and what like a symbol of power that has been, like I mean there's no the three of us can't speak on that, but like from a cinematic perspective also was just like a one shot, that whole thing, and just like the costumes and I think as soon as I saw like that DJ come in, I was like,
that beat drop is just so good.
It's so good. And then I think too, like everything like catching on fire at the end, I think that's beautiful. But it was just so beautifully done, and I think such just an homage to like just the like just music in its journey, like for like African American culture just making its way throughout like American history.
So cool.
But it was just so like even just how it started, even also that song, just fire.
It's
even
fire.
The very beginning of it, like being blues and folky, and that his voice, it just falling.
It's a very unique voice,
very unique. I agree, Josh. I think that is one of my favorite. After like thinking about it for a couple of days, I think it is one of my favorite scenes I've seen in a movie.
It's so good.
From the setup to the payoff, and to it also connecting back at the end plot wise for Rimmick. Him being like, I heard your voice. I need
he
that.
Misses that.
I need that so I can see my people. So I can connect to like my culture and history. And I think even too when it goes back to like it connects even to the little montage in the beginning of like, oh, it can also ward in Dark Souls. And the guy in the back with just the glowing red eyes. And then cutting to like Rocky Road to Dublin, and all you can really see is these dark figures and their red eyes. Like that's why that scene freaked me out so much. But
it's so good. I also loved like during that scene, like while all the chaos is happening and everything's going on, like the main characters are just going about their normal day. Like Bo and forget the other girl's name. They are like doing their work. They're going around. They're just like, because it's like they're not supposed to see these people. They're not actually there.
Yeah,
but
spirits.
They're just spirits. And so, like, there's one scene where Bo's at a poker table playing with like his friend, and then like one spirit's just sitting there, but he doesn't. They're just doing their normal thing. And even
absolutely,
even Sammy, like he's just playing to himself the whole time.
And then there's the electric guitarist right behind him.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's so good. And then I mean the fire at the end is just, oh my gosh, like he hits that high note and then he pitches it even higher. And then like that shot of like the whole place being burnt down.
But
and
you
then
can see all the people in there still.
Yes, and I love Cornbread is just sitting there, like he's still doing his job. And it's like, it's not like anyone's looking any different. They're not acting any different. It's just the way that it's, oh my gosh, it's just so good.
It's incredibly done. And I think, oh gosh, what was I just going to say? I was going to say something else about it. I think too, even just from like, again, sound design perspective, watching the like he does a high note, like he like ends it with Travelin', and then it transitions into an electric guitar riff. Like they just blend the key perfectly. I've listened to it multiple times today. Yeah, I think it was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's some of the best like editing I've seen in a movie in a long time too. One of my favorite parts is, I don't remember exactly what's happening, but it's the one where we first meet Remick. Like, I think they're singing. They're singing something.
They're singing Go Lassie, that one? Or are they singing Pick Poor Robin Clean? A Pick Poor Robin Clean?
I think, what's the one that we meet Remick? The one where he jumps out of the thing and he's burning on fire.
Oh,
but I'm trying to remember the scene before that. But the scene before it, it's so well edited because it like ends on a high note. Like the instrumental is like a super high, intense part. And then it cuts straight to like him hitting the ground. And it's like, and then
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about though.
But anyway, I don't know. It's like there's so many. I mean, Pale Pale Moon is one of my favorite scenes simply because of the editing. Like as the music gets more intense, it cuts and it cuts and it cuts and it cuts different parts of what's occurring.
And syncs up with the music.
Yes,
I go crazy when stuff syncs up with music.
Yes, that song. I mean, she was incredible. The girl that sang it. And I don't know. I mean, those two scenes are just so great.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, is that the scene where like Haley Seinfeld, like after she gets bitten and brings Michael B. Jordan like back into the room?
Yes.
Yeah. Like even my gosh.
I mean, that was crazy.
It's the perfect song to escalate the plot.
Yes.
When everything starts getting like, Haley Seinfeld's back.
Yes, that's another good editing part where right when Remick flies up, like right when he flies, we hear that super high note that one of the girls, I don't remember, the main girl that sings. She hits that like super high note to start the song. And it's like so well done.
Yeah.
And like so perfectly crafted from an editing standpoint. I don't know, man. There's so much more we could talk about it, but
what's her name? Hold on.
Pearline.
Pearline.
Yeah. She was incredible too.
Yeah, she was insane.
Okay, let's talk about what we can kind of de-escalate with this. So, Meredith, what were some problems that you had with the movie? Like some things you didn't like about it?
I'm just not a big fan of vampire movies. I think I've told you both this.
Real.
Which is weird because I love zombie movies.
Right.
It's so funny.
I don't know. I'm also just not a fan of scary movies. Like none of them are. Not that this was like scary, but you guys know what I mean.
No, it was a little. There were moments.
Because there were jump scares, but it was mainly the noise that got me. That's always what gets me in a theater. It's just so like loud and jarring.
The vampire biting. There was some really the sound design on that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really have like specific problems with it. It just like wasn't my kind of movie.
Yeah.
Because the music was phenomenal. Y'all know I love me a good soundtrack regardless of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, girl.
The soundtrack was fantastic. So good. I mean, that was all of it gave me chills. I feel like there were some parts I didn't understand, but I can't remember. I didn't fully get the whole building burning down at the end of that scene, the music scene. I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me.
I kind of agree. But I think it just added to like the power of the scene. Like,
yeah. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, but I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought Jan and I were talking about this earlier. She actually mentioned it, but I agree with her that the scene where Remick is holding Sammy in the water right before sunrise.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just like drawn out. He holds him for so long.
He does. That's so true.
And they're just like standing there in the water, and you're like, okay, is Remick gonna kill him, or like what's he gonna do?
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because that is drawn out. And then I don't really get the whole end scene of, other than the very end scene, like post credits almost, of Stack and Mary coming to see future Sammy in his club called Perlene, which I thought was cool.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, his name Perlene.
Wow.
It's on the sign.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
that's really cool.
But I like, other than the fact that like, okay, that yeah, we didn't see them die, and live forever. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I guess it is a good scene because you know that they're not dead, that he kept his promise to Smoke that he was going to leave Sammy alone to live out his life,
right?
And that Stack agreed that it was one of the best days of his life. It was the last day he saw his brother
cool.
and Sammy.
Yeah.
It was Sammy's like the best day of his life.
Right.
So I can appreciate this scene. I'll take all that back.
Yeah.
That was a good scene.
It definitely ties back to what you were saying earlier, Meredith, about like that tough love that Smoke has for Sammy.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize the last thing he said to him was like, "Don't touch, Sammy," until Stack reveals it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I think is great.
It shows too that like he could never kill his brother.
Right.
Like he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like he just, no matter what, even
That's
though.
such a good scene. Oh, like when he's like
I love that
holding over him.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what he says, but he's like,
he says something cool.
He's like, sorry I couldn't keep you safe.
So I can keep you safe, yeah.
He's like, it's alright, you always did. Something like that. I know. And
best friends.
Yeah, so like I think the ending is really cool. They also just look sick. I love their outfits so much. I think it looks so cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
They look so tough. But it's also that bone chilling of like when it's like, oh, 2 people are out there. He's like, do you mind? He's like, I don't mind at all. He's like, come in, and you're like, oh frick. Like right when he says come in, you're like, oh, yep.
You're like, well, there it is.
There they are. Yep. Yeah, it's super wholesome. It's a great wholesome ending. So it reminds me a little bit of like of Puss in Boots a little bit, where it's like Death leaves him alone at the end. Where it's like, live your life.
Hey, you're spoiling it for me.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Have you never
seen it?
That's gotta change.
Yeah,
it's so good, Mare.
We need to watch that.
It's really, really good.
While we go next week. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I want to talk about.
Should be gone next week?
I'm going to camp for a week.
Oh.
Yeah. I have to make money before my job starts.
He has to make money.
I'm gonna pay.
I think here are the things. This is the reasons I didn't give it a five stars. Typically, I have to give the movie a little time to sit with me before I give it 5 stars. Just be like, okay, like did it stick out? The movies that like stick with me are the ones that get 5 stars typically, and it's only been a day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah.
And I think that, why did Haley Steinfeld have to spit in his mouth? That was gross. That made my tummy hurt. That made my tummy hurt. Sorry.
First time I watched it with Meredith, that was literally a reaction.
It gives me like not the good body chills. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I think I smacked my hand over my mouth like involuntarily. I was just like, ugh.
I was waiting for you and Jana to react so much. It was so funny.
I said, huh?
I mean, I guess the only reason that it did was because like to throw him off the scent of like something wasn't weird.
Yeah, of like, maybe. I have this giant glob of drool on my chin.
Right, like I'm not about to kill you.
Here, let me give you some.
Yeah. Let me,
Sharing is caring. Anyway,
yikes.
I hate that.
I didn't like it either, to be fair. And those are really. I wish. I think Haley Steinfeld was in it the right amount. I don't think she should have necessarily been in it more, but she was advertised so heavily.
Yeah, her character was kind of like
Annie was so much more of a significant character than Haley Steinfeld. But Haley Steinfeld's a big name. So that makes it. I just wish the advertising had been done a little bit differently, I guess.
Jana also pointed out at the poster, the poster on Letterboxd, it's Sammy's like in the back, and he's off to the side, like he doesn't even look like a main character, and he is the main character. Like he should have been bigger. Like, why is Haley Steinfeld in the front? Why?
That's true. That is so true.
I don't know.
Yeah, really
so that just has to do with like advertising, pretty much.
Yeah,
and I can agree. I didn't even think about the scene in the water where he's holding him for a long time. I didn't even like clock that in the moment.
Either, yeah.
I didn't. So that's not super significant to me, but it's something to chew on as I keep thinking about the movie. But
yeah,
the only reason I haven't rated it higher is I just want to think about it more.
Sure.
I just want to kind of continue to gather thoughts and form opinions.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it and would not be surprised if I end up rating it higher, if not 5 stars.
Right. Yeah. I also had a problem with Haley Steinfeld and Stack's character, like their relationship, because it was like originally like off the bat we see there's so much like tension there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like my mom did yesterday, like was she all just like a mouth to feed you and a bed to rest in? He was like, yep, that's it. You know, like pretty harsh first beginning. But then like the next scene is like him admitting like I love you and I miss you and everything like that. And then like I don't know, there just wasn't much there to really give me much significance to care about their relationship. I cared way more about Smoke and Annie's relationship.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Than theirs. And it was just like I don't really understand. Like maybe you didn't have time to explain it. But there was just so much there that was just not really talked about. Even with Annie's background, like Annie gave some background as to why she was like a part of this community and because of her parents and like defending the clan against the clan and everything. But it was also like she had that little monologue about like not wanting to be with like the husband that she had. She wanted to be with him. But there just wasn't much there. Like,
I think it may have been a time thing if I had to guess, which I wish there had just been more. I feel like, too, the reason why I was rooting so much more for Smoke and Annie is because we got to see them in an intimate, like, conversation. Just the two of them at the house bonding over their, like, child who passed away.
Right.
But then with Stack and Mary, you see them in a public place.
True.
Like, not a very, like, personal moment. But also, I agree, like, it was a bit jarring to see it go from.
Yeah.
Well, also, Mary and Stack's conversations mainly were centered around sex.
True.
Anytime they were talking about their relationship, like her mom meant something to both of the twins, not just Stack. So that's different. But then everything else we talked about was just sex.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing.
Like they had sex and then he ditched, and that was it. Like it wasn't like like you could feel the connection between Annie and Smoke, and like obviously their lost baby. So like that's already
that definitely adds a little more to it. But I still felt like there was so much more. I feel like Michael B. Jordan had so much more chemistry with Annie than he did with Haley. Yeah. I don't know.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
And then they're on tour together. Where are all these other people?
Right.
And
I love Haley. I love Haley,
but
but
I do too. I think she's beautiful.
I think she did a great job with the character.
I think she did a
great job with
she
what
did.
Yeah.
Like with the script that she had, I thought she did a pretty good job.
And her character made an impact. It was remembered very clearly.
I agree.
Yeah, because she killed Stack.
And I love her reaction to like Sammy being like, "You got to leave," and she's like, "Little Sammy,
let me
buy you a drink. Come on."
Yeah.
No regard for him whatsoever, trying to kick her out. I love that.
Yeah, she's also just pretty. She's pretty tough too. She's great.
I agree.
Oh, I wanted to talk about like the big battle scene. You know, like the build up to that. I think is so perfect. Like because we see, I don't remember what's her name, Bo's wife,
Grace.
Grace. We see Grace just getting more and more and more and more like antsy and agitated and frustrated and everything. Especially after what Remick said to her. That was crazy.
Oh, that was insane.
About like buns? You remember that, Mary?
Oh, I remember. You don't need to repeat it.
No, I won't.
Forget.
Trust me. I don't think I'll say that ever. But,
you can't speak Chinese anyway, so.
That's true.
Yeah, so good luck, man.
But no, like more and more, she like starts seeing her daughter, which I honestly like. We only see her daughter for like one scene, but I felt so much of connection there between them two. Like I really like. I was like, okay, like I could see the hurt in her eyes and like the terror, how scared she is for her daughter.
Kudos to the actress. That was incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
And
so
they killed that.
And for, like the music, the instrumental to build and build and build. And then she's like, you know, come in here, like mother effer, you know, like
that was awesome.
And then like the music drops, and then the shot right after that where it cuts to Remick and he like turns.
That shot is so good,
man.
And him just strolling in, like pushing open the door,
and he like smiles, and you're like, oh frick, man,
oh, we're screwed. They're cooked. They're cooked.
And then
I'm impressed they lasted as long as they did.
I agree. Yeah, the whole instrumental of that battle scene is so good. The like super intense, like
yeah, I loved it.
I also
and then how it just naturally builds to like Smoke and Stack fighting.
Yeah. I loved that Smoke kept his promise to Annie, because like,
I agree,
because half the time, like in movies like this, the thing with vampires, they're like, if I get infected or bitten or whatever, like put me on a misery of like kill me before anything happens. And then the other person's like, I can't do it.
Right.
Well, Smoke does it. Well, first of all, and like he's a soldier, like that makes sense for his character. But also,
Absolutely.
I was really afraid. I was like, he's not going to honor that promise, and Annie's going to be like, she's going to become a vampire, and it's going to be stupid. No.
Yeah.
And like it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Peter and Gamora when like during Infinity War when Gamora's like, if I get captured by Thanos, you need to kill me. And it's like that whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, it reminded me so much of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I loved that everyone else felt it too, not just Smoke. Like in the movie, like they watch him kill Annie, and they're like, no. Right, and then that's when Stack and Mary run off because they're distraught that Annie's gone. And then, I don't know. It's just I
think it's also like they're like, oh, they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
Like they like I don't think they realized that until they killed Annie. Where
like it doesn't matter.
Sad that like the part of their community is not going to be there. I mean, that's why those vampires are so sad. And I think that's why they're so sad when Remick dies too, because it's like the leader of this community that they've built is gone. And that's what they're long for. I mean, that's one thing I think is so fascinating about the movie that the audience just gets to unpack is like, what's the motive behind these vampires? Like what? Like it's not just they don't want to kill just to kill. Like there's definitely a clear motive behind it.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I also don't understand why they don't all run before sunrise. Like they know the sun's coming up. I didn't understand that part. Because they're all just standing there waiting for the sun to hit them.
That's actually a good point.
And then they all just die, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, I mean, you could have just took off, but... Yeah. Well, no, because because remember Annie said, just because you kill the one that makes them doesn't mean they're gonna, like, you have to kill them. Killing the one that makes them won't kill them. Because if Remick dies, then Stack and Mary wouldn't have lived.
Oh, you're so right.
And so they all just stood there and waited to die in the sun. And you're just like, oh, okay. All right, cool.
Like, why don't you at least fight him or like kill him or something?
Or run off and go live your lives.
Right.
Like you knew Remick was, I don't know.
It's a good point.
Yeah, my guess is that they were attached to Remick. That's the only explanation.
I don't know. But even if Remick had killed Sammy just then, like they were so close to sunrise, had Remick even just killed Sammy, they still would have got caught in the sun.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that.
That's a good point. I don't know. Something to ponder.
Okay, I think we're gonna cut this episode a little short. But there's so much more we could talk about. Obviously, these are just kind of the highlights from the movie that we wanted to talk about. Some things we thought were interesting or well done or could have used improvement.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that was Sinners.
Yeah,
folks.
that
is Sinners.
Matt, are you planning on watching it again?
Maybe once it like comes out of theaters. Sure. Because if I'm gonna go see a movie in the theaters next, I want to go see the new Marvel movie because I've heard good things about it.
Oh yeah, it's
Thunderbolts. Okay, have you seen it? Okay.
Yeah, so I gave it 3 out of 5. It was pretty
better
good.
Than what Marvel's been doing lately. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you would like it a lot, actually.
Okay. If I were to go see something in theaters, it'd probably be that next.
Yeah.
But I'd love to watch this again eventually. My mom was like, "Oh, did you like it? I should watch it." And I was like, "No, you should not.
Probably not.
This is not a mom movie." She would hate it. So
it's one of those movies though that like people who are like you need to watch this in theaters. It's definitely a theater experience movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts.
I mean, it was made for that.
No, Sinners.
Oh. Yeah.
Thunderbolts. Sinners.
I zoned out.
Honestly.
Now you're good.
Guys, thanks for listening and watching
and subscribing
and like
yeah hit that subscribe button, guys.
Smash that subscribe button. Comment down below.
Wait, slice that like button. Still have Corey Kenshin. Go watch Corey Kenshin.
Go on.
I can't steal that from him and not give him a shout out.
After this, go watch Corey Kenshin. Oh man. Great.
That was a cool face by you. Do that again,
No.
Okay.
Let's make that the cover of the YouTube, the thumbnail of the
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh,
Good deal.
All right. Anyway.
All right, guys. It's been real.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.